am ready.
Okay, well, we want to welcome everybody to our call, and we want to welcome Jason Whitney, CEO of 3Believe, to come and tell us all the new and exciting news. So, Jason, it's all yours.
Hello, everybody. This, as Murph said, what a great introduction. Better than Ed McMahon. Great job. Some of the younger generation they don't know who Ed McMahon was. I say that because he's left us. He's passed on. What a great host. Or what do you call it, McMahon? Sidekick. Um, great man in entertainment. Anyway, I'm glad you're here. The reason why you're here is because someone told you something about metabolic syndrome, and at first you didn't understand what it was, and that's too bad because it affects almost everyone you know, and it's growing at terrible rates. Now, I have been in this business for the last 10 years as a food scientist, formulating foods and formulas to combat nothing but the symptoms of metabolic syndrome. I can't stand it. I can't allow it. The science is there telling us what we need to do to be able to stop our loved ones from suffering from metabolic syndrome. And my job is just to make you aware, tell you about it. There's over 20,000 clinical studies that have been done on what metabolic syndrome is, how bad it is, what it can do for us, but more importantly, how to actually overcome it by eating whole foods. What we call macro balancing your food. Now, a macronutrient is everything that you get calories from. Unfortunately, there's only 3 of them, so we don't have to remember a whole list. It's just simply protein, it is fats, and it is carbohydrates. That's the only place we get carbohydrates or calories from, and those are called macronutrients. Now, micronutrients, that's all of our other stuff like vitamins and minerals and polyphenols and all the other nutrient parts. But what the study said is that we have to macro balance our foods. It doesn't matter really what foods we eat. Now, that means that you could go and have, if it's your favorite, a deep fried Twinkie. Now, don't laugh. I've actually tasted one of those. I was at a county fair in Idaho, in a small little town, and they had this little concession stand, and they had deep fried Twinkies, and they had deep fried Snickers bars. What else did they have? They had deep fried cheese. Oh, and actually, the deep fried Twinkie didn't taste too bad. What I'm saying is your body was made to be able to handle a wide variety of foods and the balance of how much sugar, how much carbohydrates and proteins and fats are in that food. And it can handle the things that are less healthy as long as you don't do too much of it. You balance it out throughout the day, throughout the week, throughout the month. When you do an imbalance, an unhealthy balance of those macronutrients, then your body says, look, I got to throw up my hands. I call truce. I have to give in, and I'm going to start showing the symptoms of deterioration. I'm going to start showing the symptoms of aging. I'm going to start showing the symptoms of disease. And those symptoms are metabolic syndrome. And if you all remember, and I know that you do, metabolic syndrome that's affecting 80% of our population, as reported by nearly every health agency in the world, is being overweight or obese, having high cholesterol, high blood pressure, elevated glucose levels or type 2 diabetes, and a fatty liver. Digestion is a major complaint as well. Those are the symptoms of metabolic syndrome. And I am committed here tonight, today, and tomorrow morning and every day after to help you and all the people you love from having to live with it. You can, if you already have it, you can get over it. Matter of fact, tonight I'm going to read a testimony of a woman that got over it. I heard of a testimony from a short one from a gentleman, and I plead with you, sir, please send me your testimony. What a wonderful story. He's only been on about 2 or 3 weeks. I don't know a lot of details, but I heard him say he has not been absolutely diligent. He's kind of been doing in and out. Now, I don't know how many shakes that a day or how many shakes that is a day. I don't know if he's 50% in or 80% in, but it doesn't matter. What's important to note is that when your body, when the human body, this amazing miracle that was created by our loving Heavenly Father, He made this body be able to handle some, well, not so healthy things. But it also was designed to be able to respond and correct dysfunctions when we haven't been treating our body so nice for years, maybe decades. Okay? And so he's been on it for about 2 or 3 weeks, he said. Normally his blood sugar levels range about 140, 150. Now, for those of you that don't know, that's not a good number. You want your blood sugar levels in the morning. I think he said that he was testing this in the morning. You want those to be perfect is 75 to 85, but I don't want it over 100. Okay? If you can stay in that range, you're doing pretty darn good. And he said that his blood sugar levels are ranging from about 92 to 100. And that dropped from 150 in 2 to 3 weeks. That's amazing. Is it amazing? Is it illustrating the amazing power of our food? Well, yeah. But the food would have no value if it did not in harmony work with your amazing body. And that's really the secret. It doesn't matter where the product came from. Doesn't matter how pure the container it came in, or all the science, all the hours and dedication that we put into it. Doesn't even matter how much it cost. It only matters it actually does your body any good. And that's the secret of our program. And so I'm going to read one of these testimonies, but that's why we're here tonight. I'm going to be here and I'm going to try to convince you of a little bit of information. I'm going to try and convince you to motivate you to improve your life physiologically, how you can take it to the next level. I'm going to try to impress you with some of the work that we've been doing on your behalf in the background, some of the things that we've been preparing for. I'm going to show you here on our screen. So last week I bragged about sharing my computer screen. I messed up. Technology. There's so many buttons I got to work here on the screen to be able to show a picture of me, but then also show you what I'm looking at on my computer screen. I think just maybe I got that figured out tonight. So I'm going to show you our actual script of the video that we're shooting here next week, and it's a doozy. It's awesome. I'm very excited about it. So let's get right into it. Let's read this testimony from Tricia Simons. Could be Simmons. Now, let me tell you another reason why I absolutely love this. I love testimony anyway. But I love this testimony from Tricia because you know what she did? You know how we got hold of this testimony? She posted it right online. She posted it on Facebook. How awesome is that? What a great marketing tool that can be. Getting out to tens of thousands, even millions of people. So she wrote, I am so grateful for 3Believe. I've been on the protocol for a full 3 weeks and just started week 4 of the phase 1. I am loving it. I do not feel deprived. I am not hungry. I am down 11 pounds so far. 11 pounds in 3 weeks. Pretty good. And I feel lighter, happier, and I have more energy. The shakes are delicious, and the smart food is wonderful. The staff is friendly, knowledgeable, and helpful in all aspects. She must have not got a hold of me on the phone. And thank you, 3Believe. This is truly a lifestyle change that I can live by. Thank you very much, Tricia. What a simple yet highly effective and testimony. Wouldn't any of you love to be able to have that kind of a lifestyle change? Pretty, pretty awesome. I want to talk about. I gave you a hint that I was going to talk about some of the videos that we're going to be doing. I'm going to do that last. I want to talk about our free product promo. So you have until midnight. Um, I think it's the last day of this month. Or no. I think it's Sunday. Um, don't delay. We haven't offered a promo before. And it's one thing to offer a promo of products that you never use, things that you're not interested in. Don't you see companies doing that all the time? But we didn't do that. We gave you a promo of things that you are using, or at the very least, you should be using something that's actually useful and helpful. So you should be on at least one of these programs. You should be on phase one, or you should be on phase four. Four is the maintenance phase of the protocol. That's the program. That's our foundation. Our smart foods are wonderful, but you got to be really getting the benefits of our program. You got to be on one of the phases. That's where you take a shake at least once a day with the oil, uh, or you're in phase one where you're taking 3 a day. Now, if you take phase one and you order phase one on the promo till the end of the month, you will get a free large bottle of 3B Plus and the hydrate capsules. Now, you should be taking the hydrate capsules. I'm going to actually be talking about some of the benefits of the hydrate capsule tonight in the video that I'm going to, example of the video I'm going to read, but also the 3B Plus. Now, the 3B Plus are capsules that are inside them. They will block the carbohydrates and fats, and actually has a fat burner booster. That's why we call it 3B Plus. It does three things. It blocks fat, blocks carbs, and burns fat faster. When you're out and about, when you're away from your smart foods or your kitchen where you can control those fats and carbohydrates, or you're not having one of our shakes, you're out at a restaurant, you're at a celebration, you take these at least two of the capsules, and it will block 90% of the carbohydrates and all of the fats if you take enough of the capsules to block the fat that's in the food you're about to eat. In other words, you need two capsules to block all the carbohydrates. I'm sorry, 90% of the carbohydrates that you're going to eat. It's effective for all the carbs that you're about to eat in that eating session. So that means you have about a 2-hour window that is effective. After that, it's passed through your system. It's no good anymore. You gotta take more. Now on the fat, that is a ratio relationship. For every gram of fat, it will block 9.5 grams. I'm sorry, every gram of the product, it'll block 9.5 grams of fat. Too much for you to remember, so all you need to remember is one of the orange capsules will block 7 grams of fat. But you need to take two to block the carbs, so that'll block, and every dose of two will block 14 grams of fat. Now, if you're eating fried chicken, there's some carbs in the batter, and the rest of it is going to be a lot of fat in the frying. You're going to need closer to, depending on how much chicken you're going to eat, but you're gonna need about, I'd take at least 4, 5 if you go back for seconds, and that will block all of the fat, if not most of it. And you'll feel the effects. You'll also notice that one of the side effects of the 3B Plus pills is you're not hungry for much longer than you're used to, meaning that your satiety, how full you feel, lasts longer, because the 3B capsules actually act like a natural appetite suppressant. Now, what do I mean by natural? Now, I don't like appetite suppressants. I don't believe that we as humans should take something that artificially artificially suppresses our appetite. Now, what's a natural appetite suppressant versus an unnatural or a synthetic appetite suppressant? Well, there's lots of those chemicals and pharmaceutical drugs that will suppress your appetite. But a natural one is just food. You're hungry, you eat some food, it naturally suppressed your appetite because you're not hungry anymore, right? Now, the reason why the capsules will suppress your appetite after you've eaten your food is because it takes longer for your food to take that food and digest it, because the carbohydrates and the fats are not being absorbed by your body. That means the mass, just the sheer amount of fat and carbs, is not being reduced in volume, the amount of it. Let's just put this in simple science. Let's just say that you ate 100 grams of fat and 100 grams of carbohydrates. Well, we're going to block 90% or 90 of those grams of carbs from your body absorbing it. Okay? That means that it's just going to sit there just the same as 90 grams of fiber would. Now, it doesn't change it into fiber, but it blocks it, and your body will treat it just like it would fiber. It means it passes through your digestive system and is eliminated when you go to the bathroom, just as if it was a fiber. Well, if we do that with fat too, we're going to block all 100 grams of the fat, and it will treat that fat as if it was you guessed it, fiber. Now, normally your body would have zero amount of that fat, those 100 grams of fat, to push all the way through its digestive system because your body's uptaking it. Your body breaks it down and uses it for energy, right? Well, same with the carbohydrates. In this case, it's only going to pass or absorb about 10 grams of the 200 that you just ate. And so your body still has to physically move that 200 grams of substance that it's going to treat like fiber through your stomach, your large intestine, small intestine, and out through your bowels. Okay? Well, it just takes longer time. That's just simple physics. And that's why your appetite is suppressed a little longer than what you're normally used to when you sit down and eat some mashed potatoes and fried chicken. We don't have great fried chicken here in Utah. And so any of you that has a great Southern recipe, man, would you send that along with your testimony to me? Did you notice that segue, that cheap trick of getting more testimonies? All right. So you're getting a $78 value with that promotion. That's a 20% discount. That's pretty cool. And you're getting a 36% value when you order the Phase 4. So we still give you products. We don't give you the hydrate with the Phase 4. We give you a smaller bottle of the 3B Plus. So a large bottle of 3B Plus and the hydrate with the Phase 1, a $78 value. With the Phase 4, a smaller bottle of the 3B Plus and no hydrate, a $36 value. Good job. Tell your people. Share it. What a great way to introduce someone to the program. So introduce them to that. Let's see. Oh, you know what? Before I read the video, give you an example of the video content that we're going to be. I'm so excited about that. I want to talk about. I've heard from one of our medical clinics about starting on the protocol. And if you remember, you start on the P22, 22 grams of protein per serving, the first 2 weeks. After that, we switch you to the P6, and then you're measuring your muscle mass and then determine to switch to P3, which most of you should be on P3 if you've been on the diet for 2.5 months, right? On average. I'm 200 plus pounds. I have just under 14% body fat, and I'm on P3. So bigger guys don't need all that protein. But let me just advise you: don't go back after you've been on P22. You've moved to P6. Don't go back to P22 again. Let me explain the simple science why we even do it in the first place. Your liver and kidneys, and when it breaks down amino acids, that's a protein, it just has to deal with some negatives. That's just the way it is. Your body can handle it, your liver and the kidneys, and those two negatives is it has to deal with nitrogen and ammonia. They're just byproducts when amino acids are broken down. Well, they're toxins. Your body doesn't do well with nitrogen and ammonia. So it gets rid of it, does it through your feces and through your breath and through your urine. Okay, everything's fine. What happens is that if you are taking too much protein, you can put extra stress on your kidneys and your liver because it has to deal with more of this ammonia and nitrogen. Well, you do that for a little while. You go out and have a big old steak. You do it 2 nights in a row. You do it 7 nights in a row. All right, it can handle that. You do that for a few months, you're putting some problems on your body. That's one problem. Let's set that aside for a minute. The other problem is that when you are starting on the protocol, I know that your body is only digesting 47% of the nutrients that you're getting. How do I know that? Because a huge study was done in the United States recently, within the last 10 years, and they found that the American people are only digesting 47%. Now, how big of a study was it? Over 20,000 people. This is a big study, okay? And it was over the course of years, okay? So we know that there's some good data there. And why? Why are we only digesting 47% of the nutrients that are actually in the foods that we're eating? The proteins, the fats, the carbohydrates, also the vitamins and minerals and all the other stuff too. It wasn't just for macronutrients. It's because our digestive quality, how strong our digestive enzymes and how many of them we have are insufficient. It's weaker. Knowing that, I love you so much that I give you an extra dose, a huge dose, more than any other product on the planet as far as a meal replacement, of digestive enzymes and probiotics, prebiotics as well, to be able to boost up your digestive enzymes so that you're absorbing all this food that I'm giving you. If you're going to pay money for it, and I take the time to put it in there so that it's going to do your body some good, I want you to be able to get it at the cellular level. For heaven's sakes, that's what all these studies that I've been studying are all about. Doesn't do any good if it just goes in your mouth and goes into the toilet, right? So what happens is it takes about 2 weeks for me to change you from a low digestive quality, 47%, up to around 90%. All right? Well, if I now have you taking that much protein, then I need you to take less because you're absorbing more of what I'm giving you, and that's why I switch you to Pro 6. Another study, and physiologically it's a reality, if you're trying to lose weight, or lose fat, I should say. I tease everybody for saying lose weight, and I did it. Sorry. If you're trying to lose fat, if you increase your digestive quality, which you will with my formula, you're going to be getting too much protein in order to consistently lose fat if you stay on Pro 22. You see, when your body is done with taking the proteins or the amino acids that it needs, it's going to go around to the body and says, anybody need any more? They're going to say, no, we've got our fill. We don't need any more. It's going to take that amino acid and break it down and essentially end up as glucose. Well, that extra unused protein that ends up being a glucose is going to get an insulin spike. The pancreas is going to shoot down insulin, and you already know that you cannot burn stored body fat at the same time of having elevated insulin levels in your bloodstream. Can't be done. It's like turning on the light and turning off the light at the same time. It's either on or off. Okay? And so since we know that, we found that in our studies over the last 10 years, we just changed the amount of protein. People don't lose muscle mass, which is the scale that you have. You measure how much muscle mass you're having throughout the diet. If you notice that it start dipping down, then you go back to the higher protein. That's the real measurement. That's what you really should be using to controlling what formula you're on, even more than what I tell you. I'm telling you a guide just from our experience. But how do you really know? Listen to your body. Body's the ultimate director, but you got to have the scale that's telling you the amount of muscle mass you have that you're measuring weekly or bi-weekly. Don't do it every day. Please don't do it every day. Those numbers are not reliable. Plus, it plays havoc on your emotions. Thinking you're going up and going down all the time, right? Don't do it any more than weekly. That should be your guide to what formula of protein you should be using. The P22, the P6, or the P3. Okay, now I'm going to switch screens. For those of you that are on the webinar, I'm sorry, or maybe I should reward you. You're going to move away from my face, good thing, and go to this page. All right. You see here, let me scroll up here a little bit. All right. This is our actual script that we put on a teleprompter. And let me kind of tell you what these videos are designed to do, okay? Our protocol is different than anyone in the world. The reason why it's different is because of, well, three primary factors. One is it is the only one that is as firmly founded in clinical studies. Not just a couple little ones. I'm talking about thousands and thousands and thousands of clinical studies, all right? And these are large studies, not just, 5 people done in some, remote island somewhere. These are very, very respectable research firms, and that's one difference. The other one is we use the finest raw ingredients, doesn't matter what the cost is, and we use the amount that the studies say they used in their study to get the results that they're posting. I use the same amount. That's one thing that's very unique. And the other one is our smart foods that help you stay on that ketogenic approach and getting the results that you want without going insane, and you get to enjoy yummy things like I snacked on today, which was our Senza Colpa chocolate squares. Love those things. World's first sugar-free, fat-free gourmet chocolate. Absolutely delicious. So let me go on. On the screen, what this is designed to do is I'm giving you videos that you can use as marketing tools and also as teaching tools. So a person will know exactly what they're supposed to do. So this here, I'm just going to read it. For those that can't see the screen, this is what it'll sound like. This can be used as when you first get introduced to the program. You already bought the packet, all right? Or someone's just telling you about it, right? So let me just read for a second. You'll kind of get a sense of the feel of the video. And there'll be lots of graphics and there'll be examples. So it just won't be a picture of my head reading. It'll be a white or a green screen behind me with lots of graphics and music and fireworks, and we might even throw some dinosaurs and lasers in there. Anyway, you're watching this video because you want to start our wellness protocol. We call it a meal replacement prevention wellness program, which is a little long, so you can just call it 3Believe diet. You're here because you want to eliminate the signs and symptoms of metabolic syndrome and achieve optimum health. I'm just going to call metabolic syndrome MSX for short. The truth is you can't afford to have MSX be in any part of your life except your past life. Financially, you can't afford MSX. It'll cost you a ridiculous $478 a month just to treat it. With such an expensive treatment, you won't cure it. You will pay that month after month. The food you're eating is costing you about $7 19 cents a meal on average. But I'm going to show you how to save at least $600 a month, become more healthy, rid yourself of MSX, and do all that with this healthy 3Believe meal costing you just $3.57, much less than what you're paying now. And then I go through and explain a little bit more. That whole piece is only 2 minutes and 50 seconds, so it's short, okay? You'll see here that on the screen, I show what they're paying for their meals, all right? And I show how much their savings will be, all right? I show how much the meal will cost. Then I'll go and just do a brief overview. Now, the last video you heard me, I talked about some of the risks of metabolic syndrome. I went over blood pressure and cholesterol, and I just gave a short little expert. So we don't want to inundate them with too much information, just enough to tease and whet their appetite, right? So I'm going to delve into one, hypertension. All right. So here you'll see on the screen, just it's only 2 minutes worth of data about it. Now I'm going to go to where what you'll have as a feature is the people will be able to click on the video and go right to the section where they're interested in whatever topic. In this case, it's about hypertension. So if a person already knows they have hypertension or they're taking medication for it, this is what we want them to do. We click on a separate section. That way, your viewer or the person you send it to doesn't have to go through a long video about hypertension if they're worried about type 2 diabetes. They just click on the one that they're interested in, and then they'll get a whole list. Now, something that no one has ever done is, and this is so exciting to me, I hope that you see the benefit, both as a patient, as an individual, but also as a marketer, all right? In this example of the hypertension that I'm going to read for you, you'll have suggestions that your doctor needs to know if your doctor is giving you medication to treat your hypertension. This section is actually written by a pharmacist, right, that knows medication. This person actually teaches pharmacology at the university for people that want to become pharmacists, right? Very, very well versed in the different types of hypertension medication, right? So let me read through this. Just bear with me. Just picture someone watching and hearing about this, and you put yourself in their shoes, being a person that is either interested in or has hypertension. All right. A macro-balanced ketogenic diet is very effective in resolving hypertension the natural way. Salt and heredity seem to always be blamed for the cause of high blood pressure, but studies just don't agree with these folklore stories. Let's go into what those studies found and how to counteract this dangerous condition. One simple solution to this issue is to take potassium and reduce insulin levels. In this video, you'll find out why and how it works and how much to take. High blood pressure in the United States affects 3.5 adults out of every 10. And over 348,000 people die from it annually. Data from the National Health and Nutrition Examination Survey, a department of the CDC, shows that those that have hypertension, 81% are aware that they have it, and 52% have it controlled. 48% don't have it controlled at all. Controlling sounds good, right? But is it? Hypertension simply does not judge. It will let anyone join its ranks. Our Black American brothers and sisters have even higher percentages of hypertension, with slightly lower numbers among our Mexican American friends. The sad fact is that all groups, it will grow by more than 7% in the next few years. And then on the screen, we show all these different subgroups, meaning Hispanics, non-Hispanics, males, females, African American, male, female, all of the charts, so that Anyone can find themselves on this chart. Then we go into projections show that by the year 2030, doesn't that sound like a long, long way away? It's not so far away, 13 years, right? Less than 13 years. Prevalence of hypertension will increase 7.5% from where it is right now. How do you know that if you have high blood pressure, you want your pressure to stay no higher than 120 over 80? When you have 140 over 90, your doctor is going to want to give you antihypertensive medication. First, I want you to take time and make sure that you understand the dangers of living with unmanaged hypertension and the risks of taking medications just to treat it. I know you're thinking, what is the big deal? My blood pressure goes up every time gas prices rise or another politician makes another unfulfilled promise. It's just part of life. You have heard that numbers don't lie. So listen to these three groups. Those that have had a heart attack, a stroke, and heart failure. What did they all have in common? They all had high blood pressure of 140 over 90 or higher. 69% of people that had their first heart attack had high blood pressure. 77% who had their first stroke, and 74% who had congestive heart failure all had high blood pressure higher than 140 over 90. Now you may think that blood pressure is no big deal. High blood pressure was listed on death certificates as the primary cause of death of 61,000 Americans in the year 2009. High blood pressure was listed as a primary or contributing cause of death in over 348,000 Americans, which means that you have a 14.5% chance of dying from high blood pressure. But you can erase those odds if you lower your high blood pressure. The sad trend is that those that die from hypertension has risen by nearly 44%, 43.6% since year 2009. The estimated direct and indirect cost of high blood pressure is $51 billion. You can count on spending between $740 to $990 a year to treat your hypertension. And you don't pay for the medications to treat your blood pressure. You'll have to pay for it with the drugs to treat the condition that hypertension meds will give you. Now, what did I just say? You'll actually get other conditions just because you're taking hypertension medication. All right? On the chart, and then we show the screen as listed from the World Health Organization, all of these, and there's a list of probably, 30 on the screen of issues that have been proven to that you'll get just from taking hypertension medication to get over high blood pressure. Now I have some in red, and there's some serious ones here. Kidney damage, digestive disorders. You'll actually get high cholesterol, anemia, depression, heart arrhythmia. These are some serious health issues just from trying to lower your blood pressure. And then we actually go into, and you're going to love this part, the 4 issues that actually cause high blood pressure. It's not caused by salt. Now, I'm not going to read through all of that right now, but I just want you to know we list the first one, which is that your body holds on to sodium if you have a high insulin producing physiology. But you can change all that with a diet that we give you. Okay. The next one is there's magnesium. Insulin also doesn't play nice with magnesium. That causes your blood pressure to go up. And then we go into detail as to why in the video. Cell growth goes crazy. There's certain cell growth called the VEGF cell, and it promotes smooth cells. They're actually muscle cells, and where plaque builds up in your arteries and blood isn't flowing, and it can cause stroke and heart attack. That's why your blood pressure goes up. Your heart has to work harder to move blood throughout your body because all the veins and capillaries are closed off. And the last one is fat. Fat in your internal body, meaning called visceral fat, actually applies pressure. The more fat there is, the fat's got to go somewhere, right? So it pushes on your organs, and one organ that it pushes on would be your kidneys, and that has been shown to actually, that alone, to increase your blood pressure. That's why your blood pressure goes up. Not because of salt. Salt can make it go up after those four things have already happened. And our protocol has been clinically proven to not only reduce it, but if you follow it long enough, completely eradicate it. Now, in here, we also have a PDF letter that your customer, anyone that goes on the protocol, can print off and give to their doctor. Or they can email them the letter and this video. Why would that want to happen? Why is that important? Because it actually, if you're on the screen here, it's a letter written to the doctor just telling them, hey, your patient has started a very low carbohydrate diet. In the medical terms, it's called the VLCD type of diet. And we're telling them what it means there's no salesmanship at all. It just tells them we're giving them high omega fats, approximately a 55 to 63% ratio, and reducing the carbs down to about 5%. Okay. And then we tell the doctor, here's some possible side effects that can happen because you're also treating them with medication. And then we give a list. I wish you could see this. We tell them the drugs that work best with a ketogenic diet when treating hypertension, and gives them direction. Again, when I said this was written by a pharmacist, not by me, by a pharmacist, so the doctor can feel confident. When the doctor looks at this, they're going to look at that and go, wow, this was written by a medical professional, someone that actually knows. Now, your doctor, as brilliant as they are, they're not a pharmacist, right? They simply don't have all the time to study every single drug and how it interacts with every condition. And that's why they rely on other specialists in the medical field. This is just giving them a glimpse. Now, if the doctor is curious, we give links and references to the clinical studies that prove what we said is true so that they can go and check it out for themselves to verify that we're being accurate. And then we tell them about the sodium to potassium. You heard me say in the beginning of that video that increasing the potassium level actually can reduce the amount of blood pressure. And we tell them how much to take. And we tell them and when to take it. And then we cite clinical studies as well. And then you'll see if you're on the screen, we do the same thing for cholesterol. If they're taking cholesterol medication, we do the same thing for a type 1 diabetic or a type 2 that's taking medication. We give actual substance to the user and to your client's physician so that they can feel confident in knowing how to best treat their patient. This has never been done before. This is tremendous. This is fantastic. Not only for saving lives, but for being effective in a marketing tool. Can you imagine the gratitude that you'll be able to receive from people saying, you know what, I've been sold a lot of products, but never anyone that's taken it serious to the point where you're actually helping my doctor help me more. Isn't that wonderful? So that's what I'm excited about. That's why you can hear me talking so much about it. I literally, just so you know, I lock myself in my room and I'm going through the clinical studies and writing the scripts, make sure that they're accurate from the medical point of view, but also in a deliverable way. And then we'll have the video team make it exciting and not just humdrum. We've thrown in a little bit of humor in there. I can't guarantee that it'll be funny, but you can see that it's attempting to be funny and on a very, very serious issue. And we've tried to keep these videos very, very short. You saw me talk about that this one's 2 minutes, this one's 3.5 minutes. And so they don't have to watch 2 hours worth of stuff just to be able to start on the diet. Also, you can assume that we've done very detailed video, the ones that we're shooting next week, on actually opening up the starter kit, going through every single item, going through the phase 1 sheet, pointing to where we're talking about how to use the diet, how to do your first week, the second week, the third week. We give the lessons all on video. We even go through with screenshots of our website of where they should be looking at to order the product that they want. You've noticed that there's been some changes when you go to order on the website. They're adding the peptide and the whey. The vegetarian will go up there. And then there's some boxes that haven't been updated quite yet because they're still working on it. But we'll show it on the video, making sure that your people don't order the wrong one when they're on phase 1. I'll explain more. It'll be self-explanatory when the video comes out, but we're leaving no stone unturned. We're really taking this seriously. I personally am taking this seriously. I work on nothing but this every day, and if I don't get this finished, I'm going to be in trouble with my family because I'm spending so many hours doing this. But it's for you. It's for a good cause. It actually haunts me when I know that 360 people or 340 people every day die from taking medication. Not a misdiagnosis. These are not people that are overdosing on drugs. These are people that are following the prescription precisely, using it as they're instructed to. It's just the negative side effects, the risks that you take when you take medication. My goal is to get you off all medication if we can. But throughout the videos that we have, we keep telling the people, do not stop taking your medication without talking to and consulting with your physician. Don't change your medication without first talking with and consulting with your prescribing physician. So we want to make sure that though we believe, and science backs up, that we have a very responsible and effective form to get you off of most, if not all, of your medications. We also want to enforce the importance that you can't just stop, all right? Your body's been using these medications for a while. You want to be able to have someone monitor you that knows what those numbers mean. And when they see the type of content that I just showed you, your doctor, when they see that we know what we're talking about on our side as far as what effect our product will have on their patient's body, when they see the science behind it, they'll take it seriously. They'll work with you, and they don't want you to be on medication. They just want to save your life. They want to make you more comfortable. So this has never been done before in not only in the medical field but in the nutraceutical field. So I'm really excited about it. I hope you are too. So that's it for me tonight. I want to reach out and make sure that I had answered all my questions. Merv, are you there?
I don't have it.
I'm here.
Good. Do you have any questions?
Jason, you might make some comments of ashwagandha. I've had a lot of people, you mentioned that last week, that our product does have that ingredient from India. But you want to make a few comments about that in our product and what it does, and some of the science and some of the background of that product.
Sure.
And the pills.
What we have in what he's talking about, ashwagandha is a root. It's a natural product, primarily from India, and we have we purchased from the only company that has the clinical studies that prove its effectiveness. So don't just go buying it off the supermarket, because it won't be. It's like eating weeds, right? There's you got to get it in the right dose, and we get that. Of course, ours costs more. I mean, the price that we pay costs more, but we put it in every serving of the meal replacement that you get. Now we're putting it in a separate form, so you can buy it for those that want more. I will do a whole entire part of the videos that I'm shooting, and I'll do a whole section on ashwagandha. I'll do it on every ingredient that we have put in our shakes, but I'll do it on ashwagandha. And why it's good is it relieves stress, both physical stresses like racy heart or anxiety, quieting your mind. My wife takes it before she goes to bed because her mind's just racing. It just calms her down. She's able to sleep better. Athletes perform better with it. Better oxygen uptake, less fatigue on muscle tissue. It's been found to suppress cancer tumors, both in spreading and reducing the tumor size. There's a host of benefits, and it's a fantastic product. And you don't even have to pay extra for it. It comes right in your shake. It always had from day one. It's in all of our formulas. You don't have to worry about it being out or excluded. I put in everything. It's a great product. Go online if you're impatient about our video, and read up on some of the science. It's pretty amazing. Great comment. So it looks like we've wrapped up for the rest of the evening. I encourage you again, tell everybody that you know, and especially those that are in your group, take advantage of the promo. All right. The promo on the phase 1 is $78 worth of stuff, and promo on phase 4 is $36 worth of free stuff. That's a 26% discount. Do it before the end of the month. So don't waste any time. Get in there and get it ordered. Thank you again, Merv. I think we're signing off for the night, aren't we?
Could be. When will the pills be available of the ashwagandha?
We through our own success have had to find a new location. You've heard me talk about it, a bigger location with more features and technologies and stuff that I'm not going to tell you about, so that I have to commit to a timeline. But we got tons of new products we're coming out. We're moving in a process. By next time of our Thursday call, we'll be in our new facility. And so I'll probably give you a little bit of a tour so you get an idea of what it looks like. But it will be after that. So I'm looking at probably 60 days when it's in capsule form. Give me a time for us to be able to get settled in and get all of our packaging back. And moving 15,000 square feet of equipment, big equipment, is no small task. And me cramming it in the back of my Pinto, that's a lot of loads. Those younger people that don't know that Pintos aren't even in existence anymore, that was a joke. Thank you again.
God bless, Jason.
God bless you all.
Thank you much.
Good night.